consequences are evident.
We are socked in here this morning. I went out this morning around 3:30 to just check the road conditions when I got up, and immediately there was a sheet of ice.
People can't help but slide on an icy reality. Changing Christmas plans for thousands.
So I have been here since 9 p.m. yesterday, and I was hoping to beat the snow and the traffic and all the crowds, and I got here, my flight was canceled.
Will people be able to make it to their destinations?
But it's going to continue to be limited operations at this point.
The storm even taking aim at people responsible for helping those in trouble.
So our response times are going to be slower only because of the fact that the road conditions call for that.
With warming temperatures, the ice is thawing, bringing new concerns about flooding.
This is Fox 13 News at 4.
Thanks for joining us at 4. I'm Nia Wong.
And I'm Matthew Smith. Now, Western Washington has not seen an ice event like this one in more than a decade. The ice making the roads a virtual skating rink. It also brought down power lines. More than 13,000 people are in the dark right now. And of course, they're also in the cold. Now, Puget Sound Energy makes up 9,000 of our current outages that we're tracking. Another 3,000 are from Snohomish PUD up to our north.
And thankfully, power is back in the San Juans after nearly everyone there went without light or heat last night. We have team coverage tonight from 4 counties that are digging out of the ice. Lisa Villegas tracking the forecast and warm up.
Brisa Mendez is talking with folks trying to thaw out in Snohomish County. Jennifer Dowling, she's up near Gold Bar as US 2 has been shut down, leaving people in the cold and the dark. Yes, many without power there.
And we have Alejandro Guzman at one of the most hectic impacted places today, SeaTac. But first, we head to Frankie Thompson, where a car has flipped over. Frankie?
Yeah, and really, that could have happened to anyone. Edmonds is full of steep hills. That's why the city closed off this street to downtown to prevent drivers from sliding or crashing into something, because that's exactly what happened to one driver just a few blocks away from here. Flat on its side.
I saw her just going down. I'm like, oh, this is bad. And I'm like, oh, my God, she just flipped her car.
Brent Herman says his wife was on her way to work when her car slid down the icy streets of their neighborhood in Edmonds.
She come down the hill, her car just would not stop until it came to a stop on its side. It went up a rockery right over there and just flipped over.
Herman says his wife is shaken, but she's not hurt after first responders carefully rescued her from the flipped car.
The fire department got here to bust out the windows to get her out and stabilize the car.
With 2 snowfalls and freezing rain that came down across Snohomish County, the streets are frozen over. Herman and his neighbors say a snowplow has not come through this area once.
So even the ones they're trying to take care of right now are still pretty impassable, I think. The ice is the worst I've ever seen.
Removing that snow and ice has kept Snohomish County Public Works busy since Saturday. Director Kelly Snyder says the conditions are becoming more dangerous each day. While out clearing the roads, 2 trees weighed down by ice from the freezing rain fell on top of a snowplow while the truck driver was inside. Snyder says thankfully the driver wasn't hurt, but it speaks to the risk crews endure to make sure the roads are safe for everyone. And their work isn't over. With rain and warmer temperatures in the forecast, Snyder says the quick thaw could turn into flooding this weekend.
We might see some road closures this weekend in some of the urban areas for some urbanized flooding. We're really asking the public to help us go out to those storm drain areas, remove the snow from the drains, even if it's just a couple little inches here and there. That'll help the water go where it needs to go.
Snyder is encouraging people to stay home if they can, to give crews space to clear the roads effectively and safely. Herman says with a busted car, he and his wife might not be going anywhere anytime soon.
She was laughing, and she's like, don't say it, don't say it. And I'm like, I told you so.
And officials are asking everyone to follow these road closure signs because that's for everyone's protection. They say this is what's going to help people stay off of those roads, prevent them from sliding, prevent them from crashing, because the conditions here are going to continue to be slippery for some time. Reporting live in Edmonds, Frankie Thompson, Fox 13 News.
Well, Frankie, thanks, and a great warning for everybody. Let's switch things up now from the road to the skies. Planes are struggling to get off the ground today. more than 640 flights have already been canceled.
And Alaska just canceled all their flights out of SeaTac for the rest of the day. On top of that, they say they've lost thousands of people's checked baggage. Now we head to Alejandra Guzman, who is live at SeaTac. And Ali, what are you learning about the situation?
Yeah, Matthew, I can tell you that things are not getting any better here at SeaTac. I mean, just take a look around. This line for Alaska Airlines nearly seems endless. There is a lot of faces of disappointment, uncertainty, and unknowing because nobody really knows when they're going to be able to get those wheels up anytime soon. Like you guys mentioned just a couple minutes ago, Alaska telling everyone, coming on over the overhead, telling everyone that their flights have been canceled for the rest of the day, asking everyone who lives in the greater Seattle area to simply go home. This is one of the biggest days for holiday travel, and if you take a look around, there's many who have been here for hours expecting to hit the skies for the holiday travel. But again, the latest breakdown, according to FlightAware, is 656 flights canceled, at least 224 delayed, and that's still ongoing. I mean, we can hear that there is an announcement going on overhead that is telling everyone to simply go home and return home. That is their recommendation at this hour because there is not any possibility of them getting rescheduled. On top of that, like you guys mentioned, thousands of bags have been lost or they have not been able to get on planes. They're now calling guests to see where they can actually send their bags to. They're working with UPS to get those baggages back to their original owners because let me tell you, things are only getting more and more hectic here at SeaTac. Everyone is still trying to make it for the holiday travel. We heard from some folks who have been here since very early this morning. And again, they might not even make it out of SeaTac until the next 26th, 27th, past the holidays. But at least they say that they're going to be home for the New Year's. Everyone is trying to keep up the good spirits because that's what this is all about, trying to enjoy the holiday season. But again, right now, everyone is encouraged to just reassess their flight plans. We're going to stay on top of this and bring you the very latest. But for now, these are the latest conditions here at SeaTac. Back to you.
A metaphorical train wreck at the airport. But wait, there's more. Hundreds of trees and limbs came down across Gold Bar overnight under the weight of freezing rain and snow, and of course high winds. Many power lines coming down with those high winds.
And the storm hitting just before the holidays, leaving many scrambling to clean up or change holiday plans.
Fox 13's Jennifer Dowling is live for us there now with a look at conditions and the damage of this ill-timed storm.
There's been a lot of damage. WashDOT just announcing that US 2 just reopened about an hour ago after trees fell across the highway there, so that is open. Meantime, the rain continues to fall steadily and heavily at this hour, and if you take a look at the pavement, you can see it's still a sheet of ice out here. It's challenging to walk, let alone clean up after the mess the storm left behind. Trees and power lines in the Gold Bar area took a beating overnight as freezing rain and high winds whipped up chaos across the community.
I stayed up until 2 o'clock. Everything was fine, and looked out this morning at 8 o'clock, and I had some firewood.
The tree narrowly missed the bulk of this bus stop, but did shatter a back panel, leaving a pile of broken glass behind.
We have a lot of wind. They call it blow bar. And we're at the neck of the funnel here, and the wind just whips down the valley. And so we got a lot of tree damage.
Just under a mile away, Mark Mellett told us that a tree had also fallen on his property earlier in the week after round one of this week's storms rolled through.
Well, the wind was blowing and it blew 2 trees down and one went across the top of my house.
It dented a fence before coming to rest on his home.
Right across the roof and the porch, right at the center of the house.
The tree has since been chopped up into firewood, but Mark worries about more trees on the property falling. Meantime, others were worried today about getting their power back before the holidays. At the height of the outages, a PSE spokesperson said there were more than 1,300 customers without power.
We're seeing the most problems in the North Bend, Skykomish, and Greenwater areas, where we also have where we do have 3 substations offline.
One of the things that is also hindering power crews is the closure of US 2 between Gold Bar and Index due to downed trees. Icy road conditions are also making it challenging for crews to get to the roads that are open.
And we know that it's very frustrating, especially this time of year, but our crews are working as quickly and safely as possible.
Yeah, it's kind of slick. I've fallen a couple times.
As residents and utility and power crews do their best to get around and clean up and make repairs, Malcolm says the downed trees won't go to waste. He says most folks in Gold Bar are, quote, wood rats that will find uses for the trees that fall due to the weather.
I don't know, maybe about 20% of the people have wood stoves. And if you can get it fast, it's yours.
There you go, the silver lining for all those trees down. And WashDOT wants to remind drivers that although US 2 has reopened, there are some utility crews out there setting a pole. So there may be a flagger out there, and that driving lanes might be reduced to one lane. So it could be slow going on US 2, even though they have reopened that road. Reporting live in Gold Bar, Jennifer Dowling, Fox 13 News.
All right, this is being called a once-in-a-generation kind of storm. Joining us is Chief Meteorologist Lisa Villegas. And Lisa, tell us, is the worst of it over?
So, yes, and we are starting to see some improvement. So that's the good news here, Nia and Matt. Of course, good evening to you at home. Again, stay home if you can. The good news is we are watching the temperature starting to warm up, and we're starting to see a lot of that wintry precipitation transition back into rain. So a lot of melting is going to be taking place here for the next 24 hours. However, we still have that wintry mix across portions of our area. Definitely want to zoom in across parts of Whatcom County where you're seeing the pink. That's where we're definitely seeing more of that freezing rain on top of all the snow that we've had earlier in the week. So a lot going on. Again, staying indoors if you can, from Linden all the way to Glacier and over into Bellingham, finally starting to clear up. And as we expand down south along I-5, now into Snohomish County, in Arlington, Tulalip, Lake Stevens, stretching on to Everett and Monroe, that's where all of that wintry mix is now into transitioning back into rain. So we're going to see a lot of rain happening here for at least the next several days. And then zooming in across parts of King County and the lowlands, watching for that wintry mix to still holding on because temperatures are right around freezing. Over in Seattle, Mercer Island, watching for you, but overall a lot of rain heading our way here in the next 24 hours. In fact, across the passes, that's where I'm mainly concerned. We do have this winter storm warning still in effect until 7 o'clock, but definitely watching the passes because those temperatures are very, very cold, and all the snow that we've had, well, now we're getting a layer of ice on top of that currently that will transition into snow in the next couple of days, and we are going to get ready for a couple atmospheric rivers. I'm going to walk you through that forecast and what we can expect through the holiday weekend coming up.
All right.